Just yesterday, I'm happy you've gone through all of this now. And going through this, we're looking at what you meant by placing a cap. In other words, someone could have as well come with a medical bill of 500 million, and you have to pay because there's no ceiling on that particular one. But looking at all of this, it comes down to lawmaking. Now, it is already a law. And this came to the fore when Akwa Ibom tried to review that law in making sure that people don't exploit it, now trying to block what you want to call loopholes. And you say, the governor has said, let's leave it the way it is, which is bad for the state.
Yeah, sure, it is a bad situation.
So if you say...
For just not the state, for all of us.
So by just leaving it the way it was before. So in going forward, can it be tweaked a little? Because now that this has come to the fore, it is already a law. No, we're not talking about it being in a bill state. Now,
so I'm not cutting you short. This is essentially part of why this discussion is important. Now that the national conference is taking place, national conference is taking place.
What can they do?
This must be scrapped. This must be scrapped. We must
scrapped or modified.
What is there to modify?
To reduce it to a reasonable perspective.
I have told you the quantum of perks of office that accrue to a governor. We call it service when we are contesting election. We are going to serve. But of course, everybody knows.
Yeah, but realistically,
what happens?
you don't go to serve to some of them.
That's the point I'm making. Not
so
only
if you scrap it,
the Nigerians also know that they are not that they don't go there to serve. That's why they are killing. That's why we kill to be in office.
Should we scrap it? Because some argue that, look, if you scrap this and you give them the leeway to say, well, okay, if I don't have any patience, let me help myself here.
Let me tell you, that argument is lame. It doesn't help matters, because it's like, okay, let's give them as much as they want to so that they don't steal in office.
Not as much as they want to. They argue that it should be reduced. Yes, they could be entitled to some pensions, but not as it is now.
You see, if you ask me, my opinion about it is that let the person just take the salary for life. It won't hurt us. This particular salary, that is the only thing that is captured in the books, which I've told you that is meaningless. In my intro, I told you that salary is meaningless. Let us allow them to take salary for life. And the whole idea is that we have this mentality of something that is befitting of a governor. Why must a governor continue to be in the sky after serving? He must descend to the level of the rest of us. In which case, he mixes around freely. Why would a governor require 8 security people following him all his life? What crime did he commit in office that people will be looking for him all his life? Why can't that governor be like a certain Governor B or Donald Duke that mixes up, that is all over the place and all of that? Why does he have to have this protection? What crime, what decision did he take that is so criminal that he must be protected?
I want to go back to the concept of, the idea behind these laws in the very first instance. You've mentioned speakers. A host of people will argue that speakers can go back to office as many times as they wish. There's no cap to as many times as you can become a legislator. But for a governor, you can only be there for maximum of 8 years. Do you agree with the concept that we should have any form of benefits for someone whom, because right now it would seem that we have formed our prejudices from what we've seen over the years from people who have gone into office and not served as they should and have helped themselves generously and are still looking for perks afterwards. But aren't we also throwing the bad out with the good, in the sense that there could be people who will not do any of these things and should get some form of benefits after office?
That's why I said, let a governor have his salary for life. But you see, by the time
which you say is meaningless. How much is the salary?
No. At the point in time he's governor, he's probably meaninless. But when he's retired, a governor's salary is sufficient enough. I mean, not, Malkwe, that this is the same governor, but a number of them are unable to pay pensions to our senior citizens. You see senior citizens that are lined up dying in the queues. If you will be surprised at what they are asking for, may well be 7,500. Some of them are entitled to 12,600, which their grandchild normally walks across to a pharmacy store to buy them some medication with. That is just what they are entitled to. These governors find it difficult to pay them. And these are the same governors that are saying, for the 4 years or 8 years, which the Constitution puts a limit on, I have so much suffered. I remember what the governor told you people in Port Harcourt, that that the work is so strenuous that he even slept about 3 o'clock this morning and he's awake again. So for sleeping by 3 o'clock and getting up by 6 o'clock, he's entitled to 6 cars. Students do that who are working hard, sleep by 3 o'clock. A lot of other people do that. It's not governors alone.
Let's look at that word pension now, because maybe that's why I would want to go with Mark by using another word like benefit. Pension, I thought pension should have been some kind of money you get from a government or an organization having worked, and you get too old or too weak or
so
too
like what
ill
we're discussing
to
is no longer
work.
pension. That's the point I want to make. That's what I'm bringing to the fore. We're not discussing pension again. We're discussing largesse that must go with you out of office. A governor says, build a house. Most of these laws, I've gone through, I think, about 6 or 7 of them, say, build a house for them in Abuja. And you know, by the time you start building a house for a governor, then it the architect will then say something befitting of a governor. Nobody knows this cap we're also talking about. There is no cap to how much, what that. It just says, one of the laws says 5-bedroom house. Nobody knows the finishing or whatever. It has no limit. Is a governor, somebody who is capable of contesting the position of a governor shouldn't be talking about house again. No destitute contests a governor, a position for a governor. Nobody who is homeless. You must have gone beyond, you must have put a house behind you before you are capable, you can have the courage to present yourself to become a governor. So we are now still talking about, and this is the same governor that is allocating land to people, allocating houses to people. His problem now is how to build a house for him in Abuja and build one in the state capital. That is rubbish.
What about the state houses of assembly here? Because they are the ones who look through this, they comb through these laws before they pass them. Was it impossible for them to say, no, wait a minute, can we review this?
Well, probably you want me just to recap. I told you that before a legislator or at least the House can approve that, there must be something for them. There must be something for them. The example I gave you, that speaker was impeached because what he promised the House of Assembly, he could not fulfill it, in conjunction with the governor. So 2 weeks to the end of that, they impeached their speaker. Because they didn't go. It is all about what is there for me. So but that's why I took it away from the House of Assembly, those who are passing it, to the NGOs, to lawyers like me, who should ordinarily go, not minding, the limitations of the law with regard to what right you have to go to court. Then you probably go to court.
Let's talk about health insurance. Do you think, for instance, you've talked about how some of this, because I know that this came to the fore, a lot of people were talking about how this has been abused. That's why the governor of Akwa Ibom said he wanted to cap it, that you find people going on holidays and coming back to claim medical insurance or medicals in connivance with, maybe 1 or 2 unscrupulous doctors. So now they say we're going to pay directly to the hospitals. Do you think that this should be made in form of an insurance in such a way that if a governor, for instance, falls sick, the insurance company is the one that pays the cost, because the state government is paying some form of premium, which might not be as expensive as paying in that 100 million naira or thereabout, to the hospitals?
But let's look at it from 2 angles. 1, governors are not on any contributory pension. 2, they even find it difficult to register their own staff to PENCON. 3, the fact that they are incapable of making the hospitals in Nigeria work. Why are we talking about flying them abroad? Because the whole idea is that they have encapsulated, they looked at a situation where, air ambulance, how much does it cost to fly somebody from here to India, to South Africa, and places where we normally go to? Nelson Mandela died in South Africa. What's the health system? What's working? When the governor is asking for your votes, he's saying, I'm going to make your health system work. The hospitals must work. Why is he now envisaging, while telling you that he's envisaging where they're taking his sick, him on an air ambulance to South Africa or to London or wherever? He should make the hospitals work here. If the governors make the hospitals work here, let them have free medical attention here in Nigeria. We won't have to talk about 100 million or flying people abroad or having to pay hospitals abroad. That is how things work. So we should look at what went wrong before we start working towards how much do we allocate to governors to go abroad and seek medical health. Medical attention. What is wrong with the health system in this place, which they have run aground?
Do you think that any cadre of, political office should get any form of, since you said to use the word benefits, perhaps I should go with you, benefits after office?
No, I've always said, see, let them have at least for serving, life pension. Life pension is whatever salary you were earning as governor, continue to earn it. We're not going to reduce it. We're not going to compute it like a regular civil servant who probably would take a percentage of what he used to earn while he was at work. But take a life pension. But you know all these lodges of cooks, gardeners, security people, how many houses in Abuja, and all of that. It is looting. It is abuse of office. Put mildly, it's abuse of office.
And to think that some of these laws have been in existence since 2009, 2007, was it 1999? I'm not sure. But actions of society against these kind of things. Because after a while, this may die down and all of this can
You see, that's essentially part of why we must opt this discussion. The reason is this. These laws were clandestinely passed, surreptitiously passed, such that one of the first persons to avoid while passing this law is you people, the pressmen. Don't allow the pressmen know. So they pass it, and it is operational. If the governor did not tell us that he had even used that law to bury ex-governors, indeed, he now added the compassionate side of it that, once the beneficiary of that law dies, maybe the spouse will be left in the cold. It doesn't have anything. So the governor of Akwa Ibom said, look, let's be paying the wife. Oftentimes, the women stay longer than the men. So the man who is the beneficiary is most likely going to die first. So let us take care of that. That was quite compassionate. But they said, sorry, you cannot do anything. The man simply abandons the law for them. Let it be exactly the way it is, indeterminate, limitless. Let us continue to pay whatever the bill is. Because in some states, they just take it cash. That's what the governor of Akwa Ibom was avoiding. In some states, they just walk across to the state house and collect it cash, whether or not they are sick. And nobody knows.
Because, definitely, we cannot say that kind of action is good as well. But what do we do in that kind of situation?
That's what he did. He put a cap on it. But what we are saying, now that it has come to the public for, let us scrap it. They don't need it. I've told you that the governors don't need houses. They have houses. They have made enough money to build houses for themselves. And one thing about governance is that the people must be very close to those they govern. What of the people who have been working for the state for several years? They don't have houses. There is no roof over their head. The governor is now talking about having a house in Abuja, having another one at the state capital, as if he is homeless himself. He must be coming from a home.
But, these are the same governors who complain about allocation to the states, how insufficient it is, and then time and again, you want more allocation to do A, B, C, D, and E, but this doesn't send a good signal for all the governors.
You can say that again. You see, what I have always advocated on this program and elsewhere is leadership, good governance. When I was running an election, I went to, for whatever it was worth, I went to Awolowo's house. And I was shocked that Chief Awolowo that I started hearing about as a kid, a regular house is where the man lived and governed and did all that he did for this country. That house is a regular thing for a local government chairman of these days. So that is why we can't continue to go this far. Then if we cannot give them cars, what do we now give them? Let them just have their salary for life and go away. But selfless service is lacking in this country.